awesome. We all breathe a little sigh of relief because if we're all thinking in 2025, Junior Caminero, I mean, he's got 30 homer pop. Like this guy's gonna be
Yeah.
great.
We
His
can't just
defense.
assume that he's going to be Isak Paredes from the jump. I think that there are factors at play in the sense of, can he stay healthy for 145 to 162? Will he have protection?
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Rays, your daily podcast covering everything Tampa Bay Rays, from game analysis to player interviews. We've got you covered with all the latest news and insights. My name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano,
bringing you expert analysis and passionate discussions about our beloved Rays.
Whether you're a diehard fan who vividly remembers Longo's game 162 just like us,
or you remember the early Devil Ray days of Wade Boggs and Carl Crawford,
we are here to break down every play, every trade, and every milestone. In fact, this is our 6th season covering the Rays daily.
And every season, we covered them up till now. They've gone to the playoffs. 2024 was not our year, unfortunately. But there is still baseball remaining with the postseason. Gives you an excuse there to grab your favorite Rays gear, settle in, subscribe to our Locked On Rays YouTube channel and other podcast platforms. You can also find us on X and Instagram at Locked On Rays.
This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. Place your first $5 bet and you'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Visit FanDuel.com to get started.
All right, on today's episode, going to try to be a little bit more uplifting with it.
Oh boy,
hurricane and on. You know, it was a rough 2024 season with the Rays, finishing under 500, not making the playoffs, as we alluded to in the open. But even the worst of seasons, unless you're maybe the White Sox, there probably was nothing good that happened with that situation outside of coaches and players leaving and so forth. There were some highlights and good moments to get to from this last year, and this is basically going to be a two-part episode in the sense of today we'll focus on the highlights, the good moments. Friday, we'll focus on some of the lowlights, and boy, there were a lot of them from this past season. But let's get right into it. Some of the highlights from 2024. Ulises, what is on your mind, on the docket? What stood out to you in terms of over the 6-month course of the season? This stood out as a good, enjoyable, relishing thing or moment.
For me, it was 3 things, and I think we alluded to this podium of mine maybe 2 months ago. It has to be on the third place. Third place is Caminero getting called up and now knowing that he is here to stay.
Yes.
That was the third best thing that happened to the Rays this year. I think this guy, he is for real. He's got the talent. He has the hype. I love the fact that he's a top step guy with the talent that he has. That's really cool. It's odd to see the top step guy be the best guy on the team. Yes. And so it's really cool that he's that person. He's very young. He can still get better. We've seen flashes of his power. We've seen flashes of potentially a good glove at third. So I think that for me is number 3 on the 2024 really good things to happen.
I'm with you. There were, even on a game-to-game basis, just, oh my gosh, he hit that ball how far? Or, oh my gosh, he had 3 doubles in a game. Or, oh my gosh, he's only 21 years old, but he looks like he belongs. He does belong. It's not like with so many other prospects nowadays, they get called up. Oh, they need some more development and work. We'll send them back down, call them up a couple months from now. And we know that Caminero had the upswing and downswing from minors to majors. And, that stint in 2023 where he got called up for a short period. But this is a case where he gets called up, he's here to stay. There's no more AAA Durham for him unless he has to go on a rehab assignment or something like that. All that considering, too, that he had a pretty notable injury this season. So to get through all that, push through all that, and still make it to the majors and be productive like he did, I think is a really strong sign. And you just hope that there are some things on the margins that he can get better at. But I think in time, more development, more off-season work, getting more reps at the big league level, it will do nothing but help him. And I don't want to put too much pressure on him in 2025. There will be pressure on him in 2025, but there really, at this point in watching, I don't know, 50 plus games of him all told in the majors, that he is, I would imagine, game one, 2025, he will be somewhere in the middle of the order, and he's not going to be leaving the middle of the order.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's ever going to be anywhere but hitting 2 through 5.
Yeah,
that's it. That's the sweet spot. Now, I know we talked about this with Evan for a little bit. Shout out to Evan doing hurricane duty this week. Sending the best out there. He said that it's not out of the realm of possibility to think that he can hit more than 25 bombs next year. And we both kind of went like, wait, like next year, like 2025,
right.
Like, isn't that a lot of pressure? He has a point. Over 162 with what he did in 2024, the numbers add up that he could, but if he did what he did in 2024, he could have more than 25 bombs. I think that's setting the fandom up for disappointment. I think it's best with a young player to aim a little bit lower that standard, so that if it's supersedes it, awesome, we all breathe a little sigh of relief. Because if we're all thinking in 2025, Junior Caminero, I mean, he's got 30 homer pop. Like, this guy's going to be great.
Yeah. We can't just assume that he's going to be Isaac Paredes from the jump. I think that there are factors at play in the sense of, can he stay healthy for 145 to 162? Will he have protection in front and behind him? Is Yandy Diaz and Brandon Lau going to be a part of this team? Are they going to be healthy and available? And are they not going to go through major slumps? And then how does he adjust to professional pitchers, major league pitchers, elite pitchers, maybe figuring out some of his holes or tendencies, and how does he adjust and react to that? Those are all considerations that have to be handled and dealt with. I mean, there's a reason they call it a sophomore slump for a reason. Not saying that Caminero is going to do that or fall into that, but I don't think I don't think it's really fair or appropriate to assume, all right, let's pencil in highlight 30 home runs or 25 home runs even for Caminero. I would say 20 to 24, I would be very much satisfied with.
I think 20 to 24 should make Rays fans happy. And then for some of them, they're like, no, he's got 30 homer pop. He's 20. Can he even drink right now, guys? Like, can we even legally drink? Like, it's like, let's give time to be very philosophical there. But yeah, I think we should just lower the standard a little bit, and then if he supersedes it, awesome. Honestly, if we can be reductionist about the whole Caminero deal and just say, what's one stat line that you want to see? What number do you want to see? I want to see 140. If he plays 140 games or more, the number should be there. The number. So if we can be reductionist again, one stat is 140. Give me 140 games played, Junior, and we should be golden.
Yeah. And the other thing, too, is like, it's not like he has a lot of high-level minor league experience, too. So he is really drinking out of a fire hose, seemingly. But that was definitely a fun, enjoyable, worthwhile moment of, hey, we've got a little bit of the future coming up now, and looks like he can really hack it and hits the ball as hard as anybody, as we learned. What else is on your docket of notables and highlights? You're on mute, sir. There we go.
Not really, man. I'm not in mute. Well, I have a couple more.
Okay.
But I need to hear from you and tell me I've got a green Skittles. Where the bleep am I going to put those green Skittles at, man?
Well, one place you could go to is Prize Picks. Why? Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. You can run your game all season long on Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best way to get action on sports in over 30 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, Texas, and beyond. And it is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy. So your lineups stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. If your player leaves in the first half and doesn't return, well, Prize Picks keeps your lineup live. That's my favorite feature, actually. So go ahead. Don't waste any more time here. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. So good. I'll repeat it again. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup.
My favorite thing is booking.com. And this episode is brought to you by booking.com. Booking.com, people. We've talked about them endlessly, and we're going to keep doing it because they're that good. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You can't, booking.com is so good that even if you're at your baseball rival city, you're going to end up liking it. I mean, that's what happened to Kevin. Kevin came back from Boston, and he was like, look, I know I hate the Red Sox, but pretty rad city. Pretty rad. I can screenshot the text. It said pretty rad equals Boston. Okay. And maybe that'll be you. If you go to Detroit, if you go to New York, anywhere you want, booking.com is there. And they've got so many options for you. They've got bed and breakfast, hotels, vacation rentals, resorts, so much more that you can actually find your perfect stay right in the U.S. Okay. So today, go get yourself some getaway using booking.com, using the app, because remember, the right stay can make you a fan of any U.S. city, even your baseball rivals. Use booking.com today or booking.com app. Yeah.
All right. More of highlights from the 2024 season. Ulises, what you got?
Okay, number 2 on the podium for me. I'm just going to be visual about this, so bear with me, audio folks. Just you're going to be out of the joke for the next 30 seconds. Boom.
Yes.
Boom.
Uh-huh.
And boom. This is it.
A stingray riding, or a manta ray riding a skateboard in very savvy, rad colors.
Look, that was really cool. The City Connect jerseys have been really cool. Behind the scenes, I told you and Evan about it. This is what I know. This is what's going to happen. And I thought it would look great. And then once I actually saw them in person, just so cool. Just very, very cool that we actually got something that is unique, something peculiar, something that is cool, that it vibes well with who we are as a city, as a organization. And we had Warren Hypes, whose idea that this was his baby and his team. And if you haven't seen that interview we did with Warren, it is incredible the way that he opened up with us and he provided so much insight. So go ahead and check that out if you haven't yet. But I think this is one of the coolest things that has happened to the franchise, not only recently, but really in all of its entirety, is the City Connect jerseys.
Yeah, I mean, it was such a hit that some people were maybe wishing and hoping, let's wear these jerseys each and every game. I mean, you can just tell how much this thing popped off where once sales became available, if you go to the Trop anytime from this past season, and I assume going forward, the amount of hats, shirts, and jerseys that have the City Connect markers on it, it is pretty overwhelming in that respect. And credit to Warren Hypes for bringing everything together, the visioning of that, the collaboration of that. And I think it's something that the Rays organization can be proud of. We know they are outside the box. They are creative. And I think they hit that to a T with what they put forth. And one thing we've seen with the City Connect experience with other organizations, some organizations just do not put any effort into it at all. Others go above and beyond. Others kind of more mid and simple. But I think the Rays basically encapsulated everything that had to be done to make it worth appreciating. And I think the players kind of got more jolt out of the new merchandise and apparel, and then the fan base as well. So I think it was good all around.
Not to sound like a trailer voiceover, but in a world where social media people hate everything,
yeah,
it was actually kind of outstanding how so many, even people that are not even Rays fans, like other fan bases, when it came out, they were like, holy bleep, this is awesome. Like the overwhelming majority of people naming this the Rays City Connect jerseys as one of the best ones out there. Like it doesn't happen often in the year of our Lord 2024 where a lot of people agree on something. I mean, we in corners of the internet, there are people that don't believe that the earth is round. So
that's correct. Yeah.
So if we can't agree on basic things like that, it was very astonishing that we were agreeing. Most people were agreeing on fashion in a baseball team.
Yeah. And I like how they kind of went a little bit different, because City Connect, we assumed beaches, cigars, even though that's more of a Tampa thing, palm trees. And I think that they still got into the identity and the culture of St. Petersburg and really keeping that secret until it was officially unveiled of, oh, I didn't know that there was such a rally behind skateboarding in Tampa Bay and St. Petersburg. And I thought that drew more attention to that sport and that activity as well. So good job all around. Yeah, I still need to get some City Connect gear at some point. I do have the skateboard. That was also a great giveaway. If I may throw out there, the skateboard without wheels, that was a giveaway after one of the games that we went to. So
yeah, the skateboard deck. You got to put it on. The wall somehow.
I know.
If anybody's a handy person and is a Locked On Race listener and is a Locked On Race YouTube commenter, hey, how about you give us step-by-step directions on how to put that skateboard deck on the wall? Would be pretty cool of you if you were to do that. Thank you, whoever is going to do that.
Yes, we'd appreciate that. I thought I had mine up on the wall, but maybe that's a hurricane project. We'll have to see if it doesn't come off by then. All right, and then number one on your podium of highlights from the 2024 Rays campaign.
It has to be the biggest news since ever.
Yes.
This team is here to stay. The stadium deal. Being signed, sealed, delivered. I'm yours. Thank you. It had to be done. Look, we all know that we would much 90% of the fan base, and that number I'm making up, but the overwhelming majority of Rays fans would enjoy the stadium to be not in St. Pete. They would like it to be in Tampa, where most of the people reside. But guess what? After seeing the bleep show that happened in Oakland this year, nah, fam, keep it in St. Pete. I'd rather have to cross that bleeping bridge and do the traffic and all that than see my team go away forever. So
no,
the economics aside and the financials aside, I'm happy they're here.
Yes, I'm with you, and I think you surmised that well. And we had a lot of episodes and a lot of talk the last 5-6 years on that very subject. In fact, if you want to hear the nitty-gritty on the inner workings of that deal, check out a couple of our interviews with Colleen Wright and Aaron Parshijan, and you'll be well educated on that situation. Hopefully, It brings more excitement and attendance and fanfare around the ball club and higher payroll and some more star level players, because that has been a challenge to land those star level players. We don't want to finish in second in the running for Freddie Freeman and Marcell Ozuna. Maybe a brand spanking new, beautiful stadium attracts those types of guys going forward. So just want to put that out there. So your podium is basically my podium, but I'll just add a couple other honorable mentions, if you will. But first, Ulises, I think we have to tell the audience something important.
Yes, they do, and that would be up to
me.
you, Kevin.
Yes, I was just catching my breath there, because we have to tell you about FanDuel. NFL fans, you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, a few live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place those bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. So good, I will repeat that sentence again. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That can all be done at FanDuel.com. So, Ulises, I noticed, observed, and agreed with the fact that 2 of your 3 podium selections were off the field related. Stadium deal, City Connect. That's just how it goes sometimes. And I mean, those were pretty, even in a season where you make the playoffs, that might still reach the podium if we're all being honest. But just throwing in a couple of honorable mentions, couple addendums here as far as the highlights go.
Please.
And we have some listener comments on some more specific instances, but just big picture generally, I'll run through the list here. Jose Caballero leading the American League in steals, 40-plus stolen bases. He also led the league in caught stealings. I'll try to minimize that part. But to me, it's not very often that an individual Rays player leads a stat category, whether it's pitching or hitting or defense. So I think that was something that you can hang on your hat for one reason or another. 2, the young pitching staff performances, really the pitching staff performances as a whole, but really the Taj Bradley, Shane Baz, Ryan Pepio combination, in the fact that the Rays threw those guys out in the final weekend of the season as a teaser of hopefully what's to come for the next couple years. Another one, I know he was hurt for a good portion of this year. He's been hurt for a good portion of seasons throughout his Rays career, but the longevity in the amount of years that he's been in a Rays uniform is still very impressive, being with the team since 2018 and moving up in the record books. Brandon Lau is 4th all-time in franchise career home runs, and there's a chance, well, assuming he's still on the team in 2025, he should get...
Do you have the list in front of you?
I do not have it in front of me, but I think he's just a couple away from Aubrey Huff and maybe 20 to 25 away from number 2 on the list. He's never going to catch Evan Longoria, but there is a possibility of, when it's all said and done, being numero dos on that career home run leaderboard. So I just want to throw that out there.
Now, do we also know, I'm checking up the home run leaderboard.
Yeah.
Do you
and
know
what I'll also add, as you're looking that up, he is also top 10 in a smattering of other offensive categories with the Rays. I think his highest marker is in home runs. So over the course of this season, I know he was hurt. He was still basically the team MVP. He still did enough to inch up on those respective lists.
Okay, so home runs, he is 4th, like you said, 126. Aubrey Huff, like you said, is very close by at 128 for 3rd spot. It's going to be really, really tough for him to catch either Carlos Pena or Evan Longoria, because Pena has 163. So that's what, 36, 37 away, and Longo is now nowhere near catchable at 261. Yeah. Question though, off the top of my head, does Brandon Lau have 2 options to be picked up?
I believe 2 options, yes.
So let's play a game, and not a creepy Saw game here. A fun baseball game. 2 full seasons. Let's give him 25 each,
Okay.
50. I mean, he could get there. He could be number 2. He
That's
could be
what I'm
number 2
saying.
in it.
Or
That's
he
pretty
just
special,
has
man.
a season like he did, what was it, in 2021 where he hit 39?
Okay, so
Just
okay,
have one of those.
let's go nuts. Hey, let's go
Yeah.
nuts here. Okay, it's Thursday, people. 40 bombs just next year would give him 166, already passing Pena, but then he'd be like 95 away from Longo.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
he's never get into Longo, but I think
But Pena,
if he is
gets
that good, if he has that good of a year next year, you have to pick up his option and bring him back, and then he can even further cement himself. So
if he has a year like this year, next year, does he get picked up next year?
I think you
The year after. I think you have to.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep. We'll have to call Eric Neander to get his thoughts on that. But just wanted to give him some proper recognition there. And then for a stretch there, the Rays gave us a little hope. I know that they were as much as 500 could be throughout the course of the season, but between July 18th and August 4th, the Rays went 10-1-2 in 13 series during that stretch. Actually, June 18th to August 14th. Or, I'm getting my numbers mixed up. I'm getting nervous about the hurricane. June 18th to August 4th, in 13 series, they went 10-1-2, improving their record from 34-39 to 57-54. This all transpired as you're moving into the All-Star break and the trade deadline. So it gave us a lot of, or some, wishing and hoping, well, maybe it looks like they're getting a little bit better. Maybe they'll make a move instead of selling house here. And I just wanted to throw that out there. So
yeah, and then our buddy Eric said, "Now,
think
fam,
again. Yeah,
we selling a bigly here."
and that's what happened. All right, getting to some listener comments on the highlights from 2024. Chris says Caminero game tying 9th inning homer versus LA. Yeah, that's the other thing we forgot to mention about Caminero. He has some clutch factor and bright lights factor, which is always appreciated. Ryan Hill says Pepio's immaculate inning, Taj's June and July, City Connects, and B. Lau's walk-off 3-run homer against the Cubs in June. Yes, that was good. Argenis says my favorite was the launch of the City Connect jerseys and the winning streak that came with it. It was fun while it lasted. Dini Perez says Mets sweep with the City Connects. And Chris says Caminero call up. So, yeah, that was the other thing with the City Connect jerseys is the team legitimately played better, or they were winning more games in those jerseys. I know they were only supposed to wear them on certain days, but they're like, hey, we're winning. Let's use this superstition to our advantage and just wear them on a Monday or whatever.
It started then, remember, because we went to that game against the Mets. It was a Friday game. They unveiled it, and it was awesome. They won, and then they swept the Mets there. I think they won 1 more or 2 more after that. So maybe it was like a 4-game winning streak. It was great. It was great. And I think that definitely, if you were just to put it on like on-field moments, that little streak was really nice to see. But it wasn't meant to be.
It was not meant to be, unfortunately. And we'll talk about that on Friday's episode with some of the low lights along with baseball trivia and name that more. In the meantime, people still be sure you're taking precautions and stay safe during this storm. I hear it's going to be a bad one. It's going to be a bear.
Yeah, it's going to be big. This is a Thursday episode, so I believe it would have made contact with Florida on Thursday.
All
Peek
right.
behind the curtain. This is not Thursday.
It is not Thursday, but regardless, hopefully everyone is prepared, stays safe, and does what needs to be done to take care of themselves, their families, and their friends. In the meantime, thank you for making Locked On Rays your first listen every day. For your second, find Locked On MLB. Prepare for the Fall Classic with our buddy Sully. He's got it all covered every single day. Find Locked On MLB on the YouTubes or wherever you listen to podcasts.